Well, we're not going to be talking about the purple building, which is Tootsie's Orchid Lounge, but the building across the alleyway, the Ryman Auditorium. As we round the corner of the building, we see a sign saying the Ryman Auditorium, and it tells about it first being the Union Gospel Tabernacle, and that it was built in 1892. And it was due to a large part of a Thomas Green Ryman. And a little bit more about the Ryman when we get to the front of the building. And the next thing to that is a statue of Bill Monroe, and it's a sign they're talking about it being the birth of bluegrass here. The reason they're saying that this is the birth of bluegrass here at the Ryman is that in 1945, Bill Monroe and his band would play on the stage here. Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs were members of his band at the time. Next is the statue that was dedicated in 2020 to Loretta Lynn, better known sometimes as the coal miner's daughter. As of this date, Loretta Lynn is the only female that has a statue around the Ryman Auditorium. There is 3 of male country music singers, and we'll see the other 2 in a moment, but I wanted to show you that it still gives you the resemblance of being a church with the stained glass windows. And the next one in the line of statues here is Charley Pride, one of my favorite singers of all time. A couple of my favorite songs of Charley Pride is Kiss an Angel Good Morning, and my all-time favorite of it is Anybody Going to San Antone. If I listen to that song, I'll go around humming it sometimes for days afterwards. As you can see, he was inducted the statue in 2023. Now we've gone to the front of the Ryman. When you get to the front, you can see there's a place for you to do a photo op with the Ryman. Also, there's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame landmark here, as many Hall of Famers have performed on the stage at the Ryman Auditorium. But a little bit more about it being the Ryman. And that is due to, like I said, the man named Thomas Green Ryman. And here's a statue that got dedicated to him. And as you'll notice, it's got the partial part of a wheel of a steamboat on it. Thomas Ryman wanted to have a tabernacle built here after hearing a Samuel Potter Jones preach. It took 7 years for the Ryman tabernacle to get completed. And Samuel Potter Jones did end up preaching here at this building and even preached Thomas Ryman's funeral here. And it's said that during Ryman's funeral that he suggested a name change to be the Ryman Auditorium, as while Thomas was alive, he refused for it being named that. And they overwhelmingly decided that that would be the name change. So that happened in 1904. Thomas Ryman was a steamboat captain as well as being a Nashville businessman. And he must have been very well liked, as they said it was estimated to be about 4,000 at his funeral. And now you're getting a look there at the entrance to the Ryman, as well as there's a guitar in front of a gift shop over there. But I wanted to show you the third country music male singer that has a statue, and that is of little Jimmy Dickens. He was inducted along with Bill Monroe in 2017. And I should have said earlier that Ricky Skaggs did the unveiling for Bill Monroe's statue, and Brad Paisley did the unveiling of little Jimmy Dickens' statue. You may want to pause the video so you can read all of what the sign has to say in front of his statue, but did want to show you that they even have Jimmy Dickens on the statue's guitar, so I really like that. And I can't close out this video without telling some more stuff about Thomas Ryman, as he was a very interesting man. So let's head over to the cemetery. I'm still in Nashville at the Mount Olivet Cemetery, and the picture there is of Thomas Ryman Sr., and this is the family plot, and they do have tour stops through this cemetery for several famous people that are buried here, but we're just going to center on Thomas Ryman today. There's 6 family members of the Ryman family in this row here, and I'll give you a little glance that they're all very similar. Nothing elaborate about any of these, but the headstone or the main marker has some stories to tell. The first one that you're looking at is James Buchanan, and that was Thomas's son-in-law. Next in line is that of Louise, which was Thomas's daughter. And here is the grave that we came to look at and see today is Thomas Ryman Sr. And he is the one that would make it possible for the Union Gospel Tabernacle to come into existence, which then would later be changed the name to the Ryman Auditorium, which is known as the Mother Church of Country Music. Next to Thomas is that of his wife, Mary, and she is buried beside her son, Thomas Ryman Jr. And the last one in this row of 6 here is going to be that of Thomas Jr.'s wife, and I think you pronounce that Burl. Now we're going to head on up and take a look at the marker for the family plot. But on my way up, I noticed there is 3 little headstones there that are beside the marker, and all they say on them is the name baby with just a year. So I don't know if they were stillborn or died the day of their birth, and it doesn't have any names, so I don't know if it connected with the Ryman. But Thomas Ryman was a steamboat captain, and they have a nice steamboat carved on one side of the family plot marker there. And there is again another look at the years that these dates have on them. Now we'll look one more time at that nice steamboat carving, and then we'll head around to the other side because it has something on it that I didn't quite understand what it stood for, but I maybe used my imagination a little bit too much, but I'll tell you what I think about it. And of course it's got Ryman on the very front of the marker and nothing on the back. But anyway, when you get to the other side, it has a peace lily, and we all know that stands for peace and tranquility. And then you can tell that looks like a boat, and it's maybe on the water, and it looks like it may be tilted sideways or something. And I'm not sure about that scroll thing, but I thought it may have a story to tell. So let's go into the story. I'm in Clarksville, Tennessee for this part of my video, and you may be wondering why I have decided to film this bridge. Well, it has a 2-part story that is connected to Thomas Ryman, and that is that Thomas Ryman not only is known, of course, for the Ryman Auditorium, but also for owning a ship or boat line. And he had a ship that was built, I believe it was 1896. It was the H.W. Butterworth. And in 1899, that ship of his, or boat, would hit one of these piers here in the Cumberland River, and it would end up sinking, or at least partially sinking and tilted to one side. He would be able to end up pulling it up out of the river eventually, and it would go on to cruise up and down the waterways for a long time. I think the boat itself cruised up and down the waterways for about 40 years. But the biggest significance to this bridge is in 1906, the Butterworth, they had swung the bridge like it is today for it to let the Butterworth boat come through. And the train on the tracks evidently didn't see the train light to let them know that the bridge had been swung, and it would end up running or wrecking into the Cumberland River here. 2 fatalities was included in that terrible train wreck, but it has a big part in the story of the Butterworth. I'm finishing off my story on Thomas Ryman. I thought I'd show you a model of one of his steamboats. My husband made this model, and as you can see, it's the H.W. Butterworth. And I think it was the 4th of the steamboats in Thomas Ryman's line of steamboats. And as you can see, we have the Ryman line wrote there on the side of the boat. And it would carry passengers as well as cargo. And as you can see, they're loaded down with cargo here today. And I've already mentioned a couple of stories when I showed you the bridge that was swung for the Butterworth at one time. But there's a couple more things I'd like to tell you about that. When it did have that one where it hit the pier there on that same train track bridge, that it also had passengers and cargo still on it. I think they said it was about 80 passengers on there, or it should say 80 people. Approximately 40 was, they said, crew members, and about 40 was actually passengers. And what they did was they had some loose cargo that was wood, and they ended up making that as gangplanks for them to get off before the ship completely went down. The ship also would be I should say the safe in the ship would also be saved. It is said that two of the crew members would, one holding a lantern and one unlocking the safe, would get out the valuables. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, most, if not all, of the livestock, which included horses and mules too, was saved during that, but they did lose a lot of valuable cargo. Another thing about the Buttorf is that it was on the waterways for about 40 years, they said. And it was up and down the Cumberland River, the Mississippi River, and also the Ohio River. And since I mentioned the rivers, I will tell you that it started out on the Cumberland River and all by Thomas Ryman, and it was, of course, named the Buttorf then. But it would later be sold out when business kind of dwindled down on the Cumberland River, and it would be going up and down the Mississippi River, and it also had a name change at that time. It was called the John Lee. And the last thing that was recorded about it was saying it was going up and down the Ohio River when it had been sold to a man from Ohio, and he had changed the name to the Princess. So, hope you've enjoyed my video. I truly thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day.